Yo, what up? What up? What up? It's your boy Divine Sense Boxing back in the building. Salute to everyone for dropping in early. We got Omega Red in the building. We got D Free, also in the building. Salute to you. And we got Tony Brown dropping in early, and also CB Sports TV was good. It's about that time to talk about some heavyweight boxing. So we all went through the moment this past weekend of witnessing Usyk defending actually his belts against Joshua in the rematch. And so, I wanted to come in here and essentially talk about the forecast of the heavyweight division. Obviously, we know that Deontay's on his way back as well on, I believe, October 15th against Robert Helenius. And he's making a campaign to reign again as the champion. And in the backdrop, of course, We got Tyson Fury saying certain things, which we're going to speak about. And, we also have another heavyweight matchup coming up next week against Andy Ruiz and Luis Ortiz. So we got some shit popping in the heavyweight division, man. And a lot of things are going to start unfolding very, very soon. And I think by the end of this year, it will become very, very interesting. So we're going to talk about everything tonight. So if you're coming in to listen to the genuine and authentic boxing breakdown of the heavyweight division, well, you came in at a good time because I'm going to cook on it, man. And I'm going to give you guys my thoughts on how I think it's all going to unfold. But of course, y'all have your own voice as well. I got a live poll going right now in the chat. So make sure that you vote in that poll. And of course, click that like button, get the likes all the way up so we can tweak that algorithm. So the question in the poll is very simple. Who will become the heavyweight undisputed champ? I got Fury, Usyk, Wilder up there. No, I do not have Joshua up there, but Joshua just took an L. As a matter of fact, he got 2 losses in a row. We don't know where he's at mentally. And he's got issues to deal with. But just because he's not in the poll doesn't mean that I'm not going to talk about him. Okay. He's still a name. He's still somebody that they could use to tweak certain things in the heavyweight division. But I don't think he has earned the right to be in that poll that I have up in the chat. So vote for the best fighter, or you can simply say undisputed won't happen, which is also always a possibility because undisputed doesn't always happen. So that's also an option. And y'all can let me know what you think. So continue to get the likes up. Continue to let the people know what's going down. And we're going to talk about it. Give me a moment to sort this fan out. All right. Getting hot up in this bitch. All right. So look, let's start with this. I want to talk about Fury and the things that he has been saying as of late. Now, we all know that he said that he's going to retire, or actually he did retire, I guess, officially, or is it unofficially? Man, I don't even know anymore. All we know is that he said he's retiring. And what I also found out recently is that the WBC has basically put a timeline on him saying that, you need to make a decision on whether you're going to defend this belt or not. Because if not, you got to vacate it. You got to let it go. You got to let that belt go. And as a matter of fact, I think it's a conversation of days. Like he's literally got only a few days to make a decision on what he's going to do with that strap. So he either comes out and says, all right, I'm coming back. And I'm going to go ahead and hang on to these belts. Well, in particular, the WBC, because they're the one putting the timeline on them. And by the way, the WBC, that's the belt that he got off of Deontay, right? Or he'll say, nah, I'm actually retired and y'all can do whatever with the belt. Now, we know as of a day or so ago, what's up, Demon? We know that Tyson Fury a few days ago came out and said that he would fight Usyk, but only for the right amount of money. Now, I don't know what the hell that means exactly. To me, it sounds like an scapegoat. That's my opinion. And I'm not saying that Fury's afraid of Usyk or anything like that, but I'm just saying that, he doesn't really want to come back. In my honest opinion, I don't think Tyson Fury really wants to come back to boxing. I think when he says he's retired, I think that it's something that's definitely dwelling on his mind. And in my opinion, I've stated this repeatedly and I will continue to do so. I think the main reason why is because he's taking damage, man. I mean, if you fight Wilder 3 times, you're going to take damage. I don't care what anybody has to say about that. I don't care. Oh, it don't matter. He won. That don't matter. Okay. He was dropped 4 times in 3 fights, not including the other, hellacious punches that he had to take and fight through. And I feel like it took a toll on him physically and mentally. And even himself has admitted that. It's not like I'm up here saying that I assume or I think. No, he actually said that he took a lot of damage in those Wilder fights, and I believe it. I believe that there is a part of him that feels like I don't know if I can actually give 100% effort in the ring anymore because of this damage that I have taken. Now, obviously, fighting a guy like Usyk, right? You're not putting yourself in that same vulnerable position that you would fighting somebody like Deontay in regards to punching power and getting knocked the hell out, right? So yeah, it's easy to throw your hat in the middle of the ring and be like, I'll fight him, right? Because you look at Usyk, he's a technical boxer. You're not so worried about him trying to knock you out or throwing these bombs that Deontay Wilder throws. And if he lands, it can end you, basically, right? So it makes sense. It makes sense. And, Tyson Fury has always been the type of dude that even when he was retired before, when he was 400 pounds and was depressed and taking cocaine and an alcoholic, sleeping on the streets and shit, he still had a flair of, being in the mix somehow, some way, and giving his opinion about shit and trying to make himself relevant. And so you have Usyk doing something that not a lot of heavyweights have done throughout history. A lot of heavyweights have won belts, but to defend them doesn't always happen, right? So he is a part of history. He won the belts from the guy that at one point in time had majority of the belts, and a lot of people was building up Anthony Joshua to be the face of heavyweight boxing. And Andy Ruiz was the first one, but the first one is always like, oh, well, maybe he underestimated his opponent type shit. But Usyk, to me, was really the one to really dismantle Joshua, not once, but twice. So you got to give Usyk that credit, right? Andy Ruiz, in a way, did surprise him. And Joshua did get, surprised himself with Andy's hand speed, and he's got pop, and maybe Joshua wasn't mentally there because he'd been enjoying the stardom and the spotlight and whatever have you. And Andy was determined to become the heavyweight champion of the world, and that's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes, right? But when it comes to Usyk, man, I think Joshua really, especially the second fight, Joshua really, really wanted to win. Really. Now, the first fight, maybe he wanted to win, but maybe he wasn't sure how he was going to win. And maybe he just thought, oh, maybe I'll land something big against a smaller fighter and I'll catch him. Even if I'm losing the fight, I can catch him with something big and win the fight. I don't know what's in that dude's mind, right? In the first fight. In the second fight, though, you can see the determination in Joshua, right? You can see that. What's up, Antonio? You can see that he really, really wanted to win that fight. He was trying. He was getting pieced up, and he stepped forward more in the second fight than what he did in the first fight. And he wasn't as like in the first fight, he was in trouble. He almost got stopped in the 12th round, right? Joshua wasn't really in trouble in the second fight, but nonetheless, he just wasn't good enough. And I think that's what hurt him the most is the situation of, wow, now I have to accept that I just simply wasn't good enough. And that's why Joshua said, well, how did you beat me? You're not stronger than me. That's just bravado right there. That's nothing but ego. That's nothing but you beat me by skill. And now you're trying to latch onto something to help make yourself feel better. So therefore you throw in the fact that, well, I'm bigger and stronger than you. So how could you beat me? And it's just like that to me right there was a clear indication that, his whole demeanor, him as a person was just dismantled in that moment. And now he's got to pick up the pieces and bring himself back together. But I don't want to make this so much about Anthony Joshua. All right. I want to stay at topic, on the topic at hand and discuss how the division will unfold, or at least how I see it will unfold, and I'll give you guys my opinion. Continue to come in here and hit that like button. Continue to come in here and vote in that poll. Let me know what you guys think in regards to how the heavyweight division will unfold. Okay. Because I want to see your guys' opinion as well. And maybe you guys are waiting for me to influence you one way or another. I don't know. So Tyson Fury saying, yo, look, I'm tired. And then all of a sudden, what's up, my boy? And all of a sudden, oh, Usyk just beat Joshua. Let me get my 2 cents in. Now, I don't necessarily have too much of a problem with that. Anytime a fighter wants to go on Twitter or make a video and say, you know, like, look, man, like, I'll fight you or whatever, or you can beat him, but you can't beat me. I don't have a problem with that. But the problem with this in particular is that Fury is saying that he's retired, but then he's not retired. It's not like you're active and you've told people that your whole goal is to become undisputed. You told people that you don't care about the belts. You told people that it doesn't matter to win titles and defend titles. That's what you said, Tyson Fury. That's not what we're saying. So because of that and the fact that you said that you're retired, now you're coming back saying, you know, I'll get rid of the Ukrainian dosser, but it's going to be for, you know, the right price. To me, it's just an annoyance. I think he's being simply an annoyance. Now, I did read an article earlier where someone said that there's a high probability, actually, that the Usyk and Fury fight will happen. And so I don't know what to believe at this point. But what I want to do, yeah, absolutely, John. Good to see you, bro. What I want to do is take Fury and Usyk for Undisputed and just put that to the side just for a moment. All right, we're going to revisit it. Just put it to the side for a moment. Let's focus now on Wilder. All right. Wilder is going to fight Helenius, right? So obviously he's got to get past Helenius, which I think he will, but nothing's a guarantee in the sport of boxing, for one, and for two, in the heavyweight division. I mean, you just don't know. Helenius might just come forward and walk down Wilder and beat him up and knock him out. Who fucking knows, right? But 9 times out of 10, if I were to make a prediction or put money on it, it's Deontay Wilder for sure. I think that it's a new Deontay determination. He's got a vision. He's focused. He's not tainted by vengeance at this point. It's a very clear vision. And one thing that I like that he said in the interview that he had with 78 was that this is for the people. This is not for me. I've done everything that I wanted to do and needed to do for myself. I've proved to myself that I can become a heavyweight champion and defend my titles multiple times. So I've already done that part for myself. But this time, this second reign, this second journey is for the people, for the fans, the ones who have been riding with me and supporting me from day one. And I respect that a lot. And that gives me confidence to know that when he does step back into the ring, it's an extra and different type of motivation for Deontay. Like I said, he's not fixated on vengeance. He has a goal to obtain, and he's doing it for his fans. And that gives me confidence as he steps in the ring against Robert Helenius, right? Just Do Boxing, the building was good, bro. So I have that respect and I have that confidence in Deontay as he makes his comeback, and I expect him to get past Robert Helenius. So let's continue to ride that wave. There's a lot of things, a lot of scenarios that can come into play that people have to understand. Number one is, as I mentioned, Fury has to make a decision about the WBC title. If he decides to drop that belt and either retire for sure, or he doesn't want to feel pressured, and so he wants to pursue Usyk, but he doesn't want to commit yet, he can still drop the belt, right? There's a lot of different scenarios on why he would drop the belt. But I think the WBC will give him the benefit of the doubt if he says, no, I'm gonna make the fight with Usyk So let me hold on to the belt right quick. The WBC will probably give him the benefit of the doubt as long as he announces his plans, right? And that there are negotiations in process with Usyk. Just making a video saying that I'll fight the Ukrainian Dosser, that's not good enough. But let's say that Fury does drop the belt. That belt then becomes vacant. It's very possible that the WBC can offer that belt for the winner of Wilder and Helenius. So just from that fight alone, Wilder can be champion again. Reclaim a belt that he once had, that Tyson Fury took off of him, right? And if you say, well, how was that possible? Well, Wilder is still considered, I don't know what he is for the WBC. I have to take a look. But for most sanctioning bodies, he's still number 1 or number 2. Right? That's first and foremost. Now, for Helenius, he's up there in the rankings as well. So if that belt becomes vacated, obviously the WBC looks at it like, well, we'd rather have a champion hold this belt than doing like title eliminators for a vacant title. Right? So he can become a champion. Deontay Wilder could after this fight against Helenius if Fury drops the belt. Which then means if Wilder beats Helenius, the WBC's up for grabs. He reclaims that title. Now you got to champion Deontay Wilder again, right? If Fury's out of the way, if Fury's not involved, he could potentially fight Usyk for Undisputed. Y'all following what I'm saying? Okay. Now, of course, yes, this is a lot of what ifs, a lot of possibilities, but that's why we're talking, because we're talking possibilities. That's the whole point, right? To paint the picture. A lot of this rides on what Tyson Fury decides to do, to be honest with you. And I hate being in that position as a boxing fan, relying on one fighter and what the fuck they're going to decide to do, especially somebody who's unstable and inconsistent like Tyson Fury. It is what it is. Like, if you're a Tyson Fury fan, great. But that's fact. The dude is inconsistent. The dude is unstable. The dude says one thing and does another. And that, as a boxing fan, makes me uncomfortable. And if you're a Tyson Fury fan, that should make you uncomfortable. And if you're a Tyson Fury fan, you should want to say, yo, look, bro, like, tell us what the fuck you want to do. Like, are you fighting Usyk for real? Then you need to let the WBC know so you can hold on to that title so we can have an undisputed title match. Right? So it's sad that the heavyweight division, as far as Undisputed is concerned, is being held up by Tyson Fury. Now, Usyk is the unified champ. He's got a lot of different options. Literally a lot of different options. He can continue to pursue Tyson Fury if Tyson Fury truly wants to fight, to go for Undisputed right away. He could say, nah, you know what, man? I'm going to wait for the winner of Wilder Helenius, and I'll fight them two. I'll fight one of them two. He could also, just to, stay active and fight maybe a less of a threat, and fight the winner of Andy Ruiz and Luis Ortiz. That's also a possibility, right? He's the champ. So we don't know which direction Usyk is going to go, but my confidence, what's up, Mr. Fitz? My confidence and my intuition tells me that Usyk at 35, 36, whatever he is, his sole purpose in the heavyweight division right now is to become undisputed. That's what my intuition tells me. Even though he has other options, and when you're the champ, you got a lot of options. When you're chasing the belts, your options are limited. So I guess then it comes down to, what type of scenario would I like to see happen? Well, obviously, in a perfect world, Tyson Fury vacates the WBC. And to be honest with you, the WBC needs to be strict and not play games with Tyson Fury. They say, look, man, you got T minus 48 hours. We need evidence that you are in clear negotiations of making a fight with whoever. It doesn't have to be Usyk, but you got to let us know who you're going to fight. And if you can't give us that clear indication, we are stripping you. Because we want an active champion. That's what we want. We don't want a champ that, is retired for a year or two, then comes back. No, you got 48 hours. Because we want an active champion. As a matter of fact, Deontay Wilder, man, to be honest with you, bro, Deontay Wilder, when he was the WBC champ, he was a good champion for us. He was active, and he was defending that strap. He was defending that belt. And American heavyweight, knockout puncher, everything that you want from a heavyweight, Deontay gave us that. Now, you beat him and you took that belt. Congratulations. But you need to be active and give us a reason for us to prop you up as the WBC champ. A lot of these sanctioning bodies need to do that, not just the WBC. What's up, Pac-Man? Tay. Pac-Man, I'll give Pac-Man ATL Tay. What's up, Tay? What's up, Tay? I watched The Eye of the Storm with Stormy, man. That was good shit. So all of these sanctioning bodies need to operate in the same way. And I have my grievances with WBC. I have my complaints about the WBC. I can make a whole fucking video about the WBC. But one thing that I'm liking from them so far is that they are pressuring Tyson Fury to make a fucking decision. And they need to be strict about it. And look, man, let's be real. Champ Life Boxing, what's good? Let's be real. Like I just said, if you're just joining, when Deontay Wilder was the WBC champ, he was a good champion to have around because he was active, he was defending his belts, and he was knocking dudes out. And if you're a sanctioning body, if you're WBC, WBA, whatever the fuck you are, that in the heavyweight division, that's the type of guy that you want to represent your belts. And I think that the WBC recognizes that. They look at Fury and they say, this dude is all over the place. We want our belts to be at the pinnacle. We want to have that prestigious, outlook, right? It's the green belt. It's the WBC. We want to be the most prestigious belt out there. Who is going to help us propel that belt to that prestigious level? It's not Tyson Fury because he ain't doing shit besides make videos. And he's clearly saying that I don't have any interest in boxing anymore. So it makes sense where the WB says, well, we need somebody like Deontay Wilder back on the scene. And I think that they recognize it. And I would be very confident, and if Tay feels comfortable to comment on it, he can. But I feel comfortable, man. If Fury doesn't make a decision, and listen, people, there is a high possibility within the next 48 hours where WBC just pulls the plug and strips Tyson Fury. There's a high possibility of it. That title then becomes vacated. And then don't be surprised, within a week after that, the WBC announces, or, the promotional companies announce that the WBC title, which has now been vacated by Tyson Fury, is now up for grabs with Deontay Wilder and Robert Helenius. Do not be surprised because, like I said, the WBC wants an active champion representing their belt. And when people think about heavyweight champion, they think about the WBC. So that's what I see could happen. which is brilliant for Deontay, because Deontay beats a Robert. He gets that strap back. Now you're not just Deontay Wilder, but now you're Deontay Wilder, and the champ has returned. Now you're a champion again. Now you can put a lot of pressure on pushing for that undisputed. Now, a lot to unpack there. Let's hit the pause button for a moment once again, because we have somebody in the backdrop peeking through the blinds. We all know who that is. It's Anthony Joshua, coming off of 2 losses, right? I've been saying this for years, for the past easily 4 years, 5 years. I've only been on this channel for about a year now, but within the boxing circles and amongst my peers, I've always wanted to see Wilder Joshua. And I'm sure Tay will be the first one to come in the chat and be like, that fight ain't happening because Joshua doesn't want it. But I think it's quite clear that Joshua never wanted Deontay Wilder and continues to have nothing to do with Deontay Wilder. But I've always looked at that fight as an intriguing fight. You know, just a picture of it. I don't know what it is about it, but I feel like it's a fight that you can sell. I think it's a fight that if Joshua is willing to take the risk, if he can somehow beat Deontay Wilder, it can slingshot him back into contention and kind of revive his career. But I don't think he wants any part of Deontay Wilder, and I don't think he ever did want any part of Deontay Wilder. But it's something that you can throw in the conversation, where if Deontay is able to reclaim that WBC because Fury vacates it, he becomes the champ. Fury's busy negotiating with Usyk. They're doing their thing on the side. If Luis Ortiz beats Andy Ruiz, Deontay is not going to fight Luis Ortiz for a 3rd time. So you can take that off the list. If Andy Ruiz beats Luis Ortiz, I guess he could potentially fight Andy Ruiz because they haven't fought each other yet. So that's one option. But like I said, Andy's got to win, though, for that option to be available. Then you have Joshua just chilling, coming off of 2 losses. Maybe money talks. Maybe Eddie Hearn figures out a way to convince Joshua to step into the ring against Wilder for the reasons that I just stated, where it's like really the only opportunity that you have to reclaim your boxing career, revive your boxing career for a better description, and go against Wilder, because we can't be fighting these other, like, you know, prospects. We can't really fight a Joe Joyce or any of these guys, because if you beat a guy like Joe Joyce or these up-and-coming prospects and or just becoming contenders, they're going to say, oh, well, Joshua's too experienced. You almost got to fight Wilder, right? And we know that Eddie is a great manipulator. And whatever Eddie Hearn tells Joshua to do, Joshua does it. I mean, I'm just keeping it a buck. If Eddie Hearn said, look, big boy, sit down. Listen to me. You got to fight Wilder. You got no choice. We're going to force, the situation. We're going to offer X amount. You're going to get paid for it. We can sell it. We can promote it. So you don't have to worry about that. And it's an opportunity for you to revive your career. So that's what we're going to do. And if you want to take it, you just retire, because your ass lost 2 fucking times. And we're getting sick of you whining and crying and throwing fucking belts out of the ring, acting a fool. So you're lucky I just don't throw you out in the fucking gutter. So you're going to go fight Wilder. You understand? And he's going to say, oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's what we're going to do. Whatever you say, sir. That's what's going to happen. That's what could happen, because like I said, we know that Joshua listens to whatever Eddie Hearn tells him to do. And that's exactly what happened when it came to not getting the fight originally, especially after Deontay Wilder beat Ortiz the 2nd time and Wilder called out Joshua in the ring. A lot of y'all forgot that. A lot of y'all forgot that. Deontay Wilder on the mic, post-fight, in the ring. Not post-fight press conference, in the ring. When his mind is like, it's like when a fighter just finishes a fight, you got all kinds of emotions in your head, but Deontay knew what he wanted. He wanted Anthony Joshua, and he made it a mission to say that in the ring after he just got done knocking out Ortiz in the second fight. And he said, Anthony Joshua, I'm coming for you. I want Joshua. Now, the funny thing is Wilder doesn't need Joshua. That's the crazy shit. At one point in time, it would have been nice if they would have fought each other. It would have helped their resumes, right? But because Joshua has lost twice, if Wilder comes back, beats Hellenius, becomes a WBC champ again, and has a chance for Undisputed, he don't need Joshua. Joshua's he's in the loss column. What's up, Stormy? I know it's late for you, but I appreciate you dropping in. So Joshua's in the loss column. He don't need Joshua. Joshua needs Wilder now. Y'all understand what I'm saying? Joshua needs somebody like Wilder now. Pay attention to what I'm saying. It's not a matter of will the fight happen or not, but that's fact. What's up, G5? Now, it's funny how boxing works. When Deontay Wilder beat Ortiz the second time and he declared that he wanted to fight Joshua, and he had all this bullshit that came out in the media talking about, oh, Wilder was offered X, Y, and Z, and then he turned it down, and, you know, Wilder's ducking Joshua, this, that, and the third. And now the truth is starting to come out. Now the truth is starting to come out and say, well, no, that's not what happened. They try to give me some flat rate. I'm the fucking champ. You ain't gonna, you a champ, I'm a champ. You don't give me no flat rate. Fuck all that. So the fight didn't happen. So now the truth is starting to come out, and it's crickets. See, that's the thing. When Wilder beat Ortiz the second time, right? And like I said, everyone came out and said, man, we offered Wilder some shit. And I remember you motherfuckers too. I remember when I came out here and I said, Joshua ducking Wilder, you Joshua fan, this was before he got his ass beat twice by Usyk, by the way. Y'all were still recovering after him getting beat by Andy Ruiz. But when he won the rematch, y'all got a little confidence booster. When he beat Andy Ruiz in the rematch, y'all got a little confidence booster, and he came in my chats talking shit. And so when I said that Wilder wanted to fight Joshua, but Joshua ducked Wilder, y'all went crazy. You started posting links in my chat. See, I remember distinctly. Y'all started posting links in my chat where it said, oh, Eddie Hearn offered Wilder this, and this, and Wilder turned it down. See, that's the bullshit media from the UK that y'all continue to listen to and believe. Like all this bullshit media from the UK about Tyson Fury, 95% of it is bullshit. None of them wanted to report about Fury, saying that he had COVID, but then he's out in Vegas with the shirt off, socializing with fans with no mask on. So the UK didn't want to report that. The UK media didn't want to recognize that. They pretend that shit didn't happen. So just like Fury, same thing for Joshua. They didn't report the truth. But now that Joshua's got his ass beat twice, this is what the UK. I'm going hard on the UK tonight. Fuck it. I'm going hard on them because this is what UK sports do. And you're more than welcome to come and try to correct me. I've been around the sports world for a long time and on a professional level. Okay? If y'all don't know, I played professional indoor soccer around Asia for 7-8 years. I have a lot of teammates from the UK. I've been around a lot of UK people for several years. Trained with them. You know what I mean? Played with them, eat with them, travel with them. I have a lot of experience from people from the UK, more than your average American person. So I know how the sports world is in the UK. Obviously, they're ardent football fans. They watch all the Premier League. I mean, they're crazy about the sport. And they're also diehard boxing fans from the UK as well. Which, when you look at how they operate as fans, they're the most vicious fans than any other country in the world. If the England national football team loses in the World Cup, the media shreds them. They shred them like they weren't shit. Like, fuck this guy, fuck that guy, da-da-da-da-da. Go rewind the tape. I got to paint this picture for you guys so you understand what the fuck I'm talking about. Rewind the tape to World Cup. I don't remember what year it was. I want to say 2000. Was it 2009, 2010? I think it was 2010, if I'm not mistaken. USA versus England. World Cup, group stage. Their goalkeeper, right? Their goalie made a fucking mistake. Dropped the ball. The ball went into the net. What's his name? Green. The goalie's name was Green. The media shredded him so badly. This motherfucker just disappeared. Just in thin air. A very quality goalie, loyal to the national team. And he made one mistake and they just ripped him to shreds and nobody ever heard of him again. That's how they do you in the UK. So Joshua, now that he's taken 2 L's, what are they doing to him? They're ripping him to shreds in the UK. Oh, he's an embarrassment, this, that, and the third, and we had faith in him, and now it's all like, oh, we need Tyson Fury back now because Tyson Fury, he's the real one. He's the real one that represents the UK. Joshua ain't shit. That's how they do him over there. Facts. So I'm going in on it because it is what it is. So on that regard as well, Joshua needs Wilder. Wilder don't need Joshua no more. And so y'all like to abandon you. See, that's the problem. Y'all come in here, right? Oh, man, look at Divine. Listen to Divine Sense, bro. Look at the Divine Sense, man. He's always talking about Wilder. He can't accept that Wilder lost to Fury. And all these Wilder fans, man, they can't let it go. That Wilder's a bum. Wilder ain't shit. Wilder was exposed. All this other craziness, right? We can't let it go. But you know the difference between us and you? We're loyal. We are fucking loyal. I don't know about some of y'all, but for me, I was riding with Deontay Wilder since day one. I was talking about Wilder back in 2011, 2012. Letting you guys know that this guy right here will become a champion. Watch. And everyone said, nah, man, he just got one punch. That's all he got. Nobody wanted to believe it. The difference between us and you is that we stay with our champion. We continue to motivate him and we continue to support him and we continue to talk about him positively. You guys y'all are abandoning Anthony Joshua like he wasn't shit. That's the difference between us and you. We are loyal. And it's funny how the tables turns. Y'all want to paint this picture about Deontay Wilder trying to duck Anthony Joshua. Your boy lost twice now. He got dismantled on a boxing level. In a way that we haven't seen in heavyweight boxing in a long time, where one guy completely outclasses the other on a boxing perspective. For 24 rounds, your man got dismantled. And then you abandon him like he ain't shit. But you see us, we stick with Wilder. And because of that positivity and because of that loyalty, Wilder's coming back for his second campaign to reign as the heavyweight champion again. It's that motivation through positivity that has allowed that to happen. Y'all dismantling Anthony Joshua so bad that the dude might have a mental breakdown. Y'all treating him the same way you treated that goalkeeper from the World Cup who made one mistake and then vanished. He gave his whole life to his country, training, preparing, going to the World Cup, and you guys treated him like dog shit. And now you're doing the same thing to Anthony Joshua. God forbid Tyson Fury loses. But I like how you guys like to you guys like to change your tune up all the time. I like that. It's entertaining. It's entertaining. So look, Eddie Hearn is the guy that can change. Well, he could either be the demise or the savior for Anthony Joshua. By demise, he won't be able to take the pressure from the UK media, and he will fold. And he'll tell Joshua, "Look, man, there's just nothing left. There's nothing left I can do for you. You dropped the ball twice. You lost to a cruiserweight. Every time I try to put you in a fight, the media shreds me. I can't deal with it no more. We can't do business no more, bro. Sorry. And if you do want to fight, I can give you these little fights here and there, but you're just not gonna. I can't give you the big fights anymore." Or Eddie Hearn will fight through the storm and say, "You got to fight Deontay. That's the only thing that I can do to help revive your career. But Deontay's got to fight. You need time to recover anyways. Right? You kind of embarrassed yourself in front of the world. You need time for, hopefully people can forget it. Wilder's fighting Helenius in October, and I'm going to position you to fight Wilder before Wilder attempts to go for Undisputed, especially if the WBC belt is vacated and Wilder wins that belt back." That's another reason why Eddie Hearn might pressure Anthony Joshua to go and fight Wilder, because Eddie Hearn needs, what's up, Drake? What's up, K-Rod? Eddie Hearn needs Joshua. If he's gonna hold on to Joshua, if he is going to live by his convictions, because Eddie Hearn in the post-fight press conference says, "We love Anthony Joshua. I'm so proud of him. We love him. We're gonna do everything we can for him. I love him as a man more than a boxer." That's what he said. And he also said that I want my kids or any kids to look up to a man like Anthony Joshua. Hold up. Wait a minute. The same guy who throws out championship belts out of the fucking ring? See, that's another thing that I want to tap into. All you Fury fans and Joshua fans and all you Wilder haters, see y'all beating your drums. You're beating your drums when Wilder came out and asked questions and made accusations, right? Y'all came out beating your drums. Wilder's he's a poor sport. He can't take a loss. This, that, and the third. Fury beat his ass and he can't accept it. Y'all came out beating your drums. Y'all remember that? You remember that, right? I remember it. Y'all keeping that same energy for Joshua, though, right? Keeping the same energy for Joshua, though, right? See, everyone said, "Oh, Wilder is a poor sport. He is not the figure that we want for the heavyweight division because he made these baseless claims and made accusations without evidence," right? So we don't want that. I'm glad Fury got rid of him. We don't want that image. Y'all remember when you said that, right? But let me ask you something. What's worse? A fighter feeling some kind of way about a fight where he heard things through the grapevine, right? He heard things. People came and said, "Yo, wow, man, we noticed this, that, and whatever." Rather it's the egg weights or whatever the fuck it was. It don't matter what the accusation is. Spike water, whatever it is, right? A fighter bringing that to the public saying, yo, I think this may have happened. Because by the second round, I had no legs. By the first round, I had blurry vision. My eyes were watering up. I don't know what the fuck was wrong with me, right? So you bring it out to the public, right? So you make these accusations, and as blatantly irritating as it may be, fighters throughout boxing history have come out and brought things to the public eye when things don't feel right or seem right. But I'll fucking tell you this, though. I will tell you this, though. When the fuck have you ever seen a heavyweight champion or ex-champion like Anthony Joshua, who was technically an ex-champion, former champion, trying to reclaim his belts, take the fucking belts and throw it out of the fucking ring? See, that's something that's unheard of. But yet, Deontay Wilder is a disgrace. Deontay Wilder is a disgrace. But then Eddie Hearn will come out and say, I want my children and all the children who love boxing to look up to Anthony Joshua, the same man who fucking embarrassed himself in front of the whole world and threw belts out of the ring. Y'all gotta think about this shit. It's not a matter of, well, Devon, what are you trying to say, bro? Like, Wilder, it's okay for Wilder to make accusations without evidence? No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. I wasn't in the ring. I wasn't ringside. I'm not in Wilder's camp. I don't have any of the information in front of me. All I got is hearsay. And all I can do is look at Deontay Wilder as a man, and either I believe that he's a man of conviction and truth, or he's a fucking liar. That's it, because I don't know him personally. I love him as a man and what he represents, and I love his story. And from what I know by my good judgment of character, is that to me, he seems like a man of principle and character and honesty. So I will take his word for it, just like I would anybody else. I will give you that leeway, because that's the type of person I am. Everyone's a little bit different. See, there are people out there that say, man, you got to prove me. You got to show me. You got to prove it to me before I believe you. See, you leave no room for optimism. You leave no room for hopefulness. That's the type of person you are. And that's fine. Everybody's different. It's no different than Stormy B, man, right? I got a mutual respect for my man Stormy B, man. We've chopped it up. We've spent time together off and on the air. If Stormy came up to me and said, look, man, I was trying to go on the air the other night, and I think so, I don't know what happened, man. I got sick, and I think somebody sabotaged my coffee. Why would he need to lie to me? Why? For what? He's never proven to me that he's a liar before. It's not like Wilder had a history of lying before. It's not like Wilder had a history of using banned substances. It's not like Wilder has made up, false accusations or thrown other fighters' names under the bus and did shady shit before. So what reason would I have now to not believe what the fuck he says? It's not a matter if I believe it or not. It's a level of optimism and hopefulness that the man that I admire and trust is telling me the truth until proven otherwise. Just like you in the court of law should be innocent until proven guilty. But the way things happen now is, you are guilty, motherfucker, until you can prove otherwise. See, that's why we have the highest incarceration rate in America than anywhere else in the world. Because you got to prove your innocence. You're guilty until you can prove otherwise. So it's not a matter of I say, I think everything Wilder was saying was absolute truth. No. It's a level of optimism and hopefulness for a man that has never stirred me wrong before. And if his accusations and everything that he said was so outrageous and out of this world and such a negative outlook on the sport and shame on this man, then why wasn't Deontay Wilder investigated for sabotaging Tyson Fury, for trying to dismantle Tyson Fury's character, for trying to assassinate his character and his image as a champion? Why wasn't that ever investigated? Oh, no. We're just gonna make Wilder look crazy, and then eventually the media will just forget about it. Now, luckily and thankfully, the fans who have stayed loyal to Deontay, we can just continue to love him and support him no matter what. And now Deontay's back, because Deontay was almost done with boxing, y'all. Deontay was almost done with boxing because he was tired. The man was tired. He was tired. He said, man, I can't deal with this shit no more. So, sorry I go off on a tangent, man, but I gotta paint these pictures for people. And there are certain things that are a thorn in my side that irritates me to a great deal. And I'll be completely honest with you guys. Did I like when the accusations came out about Fury? As a boxing fan, no, I didn't fucking like it. I don't like it I didn't like it when Margarito was caught with bricks in his gloves by the late, great, and rest in peace Nazim Richardson. I don't like any of this shit where, corrupt judges, corrupt referees. Doesn't matter really to me who the fighter is or what the circumstance is. I don't like the sport of boxing, the sport that I love, be tainted, period. So when the accusations came out about the glove and the egg weights and the spiked water, whatever it was, did I like it? No, I didn't like it as a boxing fan. But y'all heard the saying before, right? Where there's smoke, there's fire. And the reason why I get set off tonight is because there was something that Eddie Hearn said that brought some realization to me. And I was like, wait, did you just say that this is the man that you think that kids should look up to? The man who can't take a loss and threw belts out of the fucking ring? I'm sorry. You cannot compare that to a man who felt like something wasn't right in his fight, and he brought things to light to the public, which is something that fighters have done throughout boxing history. Wilder is no different than many other fighters before that felt that something wasn't right and they brought things forth. Rather, they were investigated or not is irrelevant. The fact of the matter is it's nothing new. Because boxing is riddled with corruption and cheating and whatever else that shouldn't be in a gentleman's sport continues to leak into the sport. If you were to say, well, it was disappointing, fine. If you were to say, oh, it would have been nice if Wilder wouldn't have made it public, whatever. But to compare that in front of the whole world, then you ain't nothing but a hater of a man. And that's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it. So look, it's funny how the tables turn, especially in the sport of boxing. Ladies and gentlemen, you might get Wilder versus Joshua. And I'll lay it out for you guys one more time, especially for those just coming in late. I'll lay it out for you guys one more time. Wilder's about to fight Helenius, right? Wilder, for most sanctioning bodies, and I think even for the WBC, he's still ranked number 1 or 2. Helenius is also ranked in the top 10. The WBC has already given Tyson Fury a timeline to let them know what he plans to do as the champion. He needs to let them know if he plans to fight or if he's going to vacate. And if I'm not mistaken, he's got 24 hours to do so. Or maybe 48 hours, whatever it is. It's a short timeline, a couple days. There's a high possibility that Tyson Fury doesn't want to feel pressured because there's too much work to be done to try and possibly get the Usyk fight made. There's just not enough time because he's spent too much time bullshitting around. Because if he would have said, I mean, we've known about the Usyk Joshua fight for months now. You could have said it very clearly 3 months ago that, hey, I'm gonna fight the winner. That would have let the WBC know what your plans were, and we wouldn't have this situation. But instead, you told the world that you're retiring. And that's exactly why the WBC put that timeline on you to make a decision. And I think Fury will vacate the belt. That's my opinion. He doesn't have enough time. Time is not on his side because he's been bullshitting around, telling people that he's retired. He just doesn't have enough time unless something that has been happening behind the scenes Usyk literally just won like 2 days ago. He's back in the Ukraine celebrating us with his family. He ain't worried about what fuck Fury's doing. He won't mind. He doesn't mind fighting Fury, but let the man go enjoy his victory. Fury fucked himself. If his intention was to truly be undisputed, he had fucked himself. So I think he will vacate. Once he vacates, I think the WBC will make their belt available for the winner of Wilder Helenius, because why not? Wilder's still ranked number 1 or 2. Helenius is in the rankings. You could say that he deserves a title shot. Why not? He's on a 3-win winning streak. He's been amongst the conversation of amongst heavyweights for quite some time now. So go ahead, give him a title shot, vacant title shot. The WBC knows that Wilder, if he wins, they probably secretly want Wilder to win because they know what kind of champion he is. They know the value that he brings to the WBC. If you can make Wilder the champion again, the WBC is in a nice winning position. They are now back into the winning position. But they're not in a winning position with Fury because Fury ain't fucking making any moves. This is a business, people. This is a business. Wilder makes good business sense because Wilder fights. Wilder fights. Wilder defends titles. So you want Wilder to be the champion again. If Wilder is the champion again for the WBC, to me, there are 3 avenues. 1, if Andy Ruiz beats Ortiz, he could fight Andy Ruiz because why not? You haven't fought him yet. You can get another fight under your belt before you try to go up for Undisputed. But Andy's got to win over Ortiz, and that's not a guarantee. That is not a guarantee. If Ortiz beats Ruiz, Wilder's not going to fight Ortiz for a 3rd time. Just the way I see it. So that's one avenue. Andy Ruiz has got to win. Avenue number 2. Eddie Hearn will pressure Joshua to go fight Wilder because there's no other way. There's no other route for Joshua. You can throw him in there against less caliber fighters to try to keep him active. You try to get his confidence back. But, his value is depreciating by the minute. Joshua's value is depreciating by the minute. And what people need to understand is that it's not like Joshua lost a 12-round decision. It sure as fuck wasn't a split decision, in my opinion. I gave Joshua 3 rounds. If you gave him 4 rounds, I can live with that. But it sure as hell wasn't a split decision. But he did prove the critics wrong in some areas. He was way more determined. He was more aggressive. He actually tried to win this time. He just wasn't good enough. So you can latch on to that if you're Eddie Hearn. You can latch on to that. You can use that to maneuver your way in to making a fight against Wilder. If you make it against anyone else, nobody gives a fuck who he fights. You know what I mean? Like, Eddie Hearn has like one piece left on the chessboard. And he's got to make a critical move to save his golden boy, essentially, which is Anthony Joshua. And to me, that move is Wilder. If Wilder becomes the WBC champion, because if you can somehow pull off a miracle and beat Deontay Wilder, reclaim the WBC, or not reclaim it, but win the WBC, because Joshua never had it. But you win the WBC, now you're champion again. Now you can campaign as the champion again, and you can, rejuvenate Anthony Joshua. So that avenue is actually a possibility, and you can't use excuses to not fight Deontay like you did before. Before, you can do it because you were getting ready to fight Andy Ruiz, and you had your own plans, and everybody was talking about Joshua and Fury, this big fight in the UK and all that shit. So you don't have that on the table right now. And Fury is not concerned about Joshua. He's already made that clear. If Fury does anything, it's going to be coming back and fighting Usyk for the undisputed belt, for the undisputed championship. So that's the second avenue, Wilder Joshua. The third avenue, Wilder claims WBC. Somehow Usyk and Fury can't be made. Joshua, disappears in thin air, and he's no longer relevant, or if he fights a lesser caliber fighter, if that's the route that Eddie Hearn decides to take. And so the pathway leads straight to Usyk for undisputed. So that's what I see. And, styles make fights. Maybe, Tyson Fury could just be that one guy that Deontay maybe he could just never beat, for whatever reason it may be. But in my opinion, he beats Anthony Joshua and he knocks him out in 4. And I'm going to be more confident with that prediction when he knocks out Helenius. And I think Helenius is way tougher than Joshua. So if he knocks out Helenius, if Wilder knocks out Helenius, who is tough as nails, Joshua's not surviving, man. He's not surviving. Usyk, I think Wilder wins that one too. It's just styles make fights, man. This is the way it goes. And Tyson Fury and Usyk fight, tough fight for me to think about right now. I know what we're going to get out of Usyk, but you don't know what kind of fighter you're going to get out of Tyson Fury. He's changing trainers all the time. You don't know if he's going to try to impose his will like he did against Wilder, or if he's going to try to outbox Usyk. You just don't know what kind of Tyson Fury you get, and I'm not going to expend my brain power thinking about it right now, because quite frankly, I don't know what the fuck Tyson Fury is doing, and I'm not going to waste my time or energy. So that's the pathway that I see right now. Revisiting the poll right quick just to see where it's at. Who will become the heavyweight undisputed champ? 27% says Fury. 14% says Usyk. 50% says Wilder. And 9% says undisputed won't happen. So there it is. That's what y'all have at the poll. 50% of you says Wilder, and Wilder can simply become the undisputed champion because of how can I frame it? Just because of happened circumstance, man. The way the world works, the way the universe operates. You can call it karma. You can call it what goes around comes around. You can just call it, that's just the way it is in boxing. However you want to frame it. But the likelihood of Deontay Wilder, depending on how he looks and feels against Helenius, he's got to get past Helenius, which is not an easy task in my opinion, given the fact that he's coming off of, 2 losses. We got to see. I mean, he looks good right now in training camp. He looks good. But we got to see how he looks. And if he looks good, the possibility of him becoming undisputed champion is very high, people. Very, very high. And y'all heard it here first. Y'all heard it here on Divine Sense Boxing. I've already laid it out for you on exactly how it would happen. You know what I mean? So take it with a grain of salt, take it with confidence, or take it and shove it up your ass. I don't really care. That's just the way I see it, man. And then sometimes, man, when this is why I never get too bent out of shape, or I never, take something off the table when it comes to the sport of boxing. When Wilder lost to Fury, a lot of people just said Wilder's done. Wilder will never be the same. Wilder will be exposed, or he was exposed. He'll continue to be exposed, etc., 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 right? But I never took Wilder off the table, ever. And I told you guys, when everyone said, nah, man, Wilder's going to retire, bro, he's done. I told you guys that he'll be back. And here he is on the campaign to reign a second time as champ. And remember, man, he's doing this for the people. That's what he said. I've done everything that I need to do for myself and for my family. I'm good. I made money. I got my investments. I'm good. This whole campaign that I'm doing for the second time, man, this run back right here, this is for the fans, the ones who have rode and died for me since day one, never turned their back on me. This is for all of you. You know what I mean? So that's what's up. That gives me more confidence because he's not doing it for himself. Because if he comes out and says, oh, I got to prove it to myself that I still got it, that makes me worried. That makes me worried. But the fact that he's at peace with himself and he's doing it for the fans, that actually gives me confidence. So that's how I look at it, man. But look, man, this conversation is not that. What's up, DOGG? 215 in the building. Which Mando will be called first? Mando for her. Oh, sorry, Mando for who? For which belt? For which champion? So this conversation is not like, it's not like a one and done. This is something that we can continue to talk about as we creep closer to October 15th, as we continue to keep our eye on Wilder and see how he looks in training camp. And we get closer to the weigh-ins and the press conferences and all that different stuff, which I'm looking forward to. And this conversation will continue. And we never know. We have to keep our eyes open, though, for the next, John said in the chat, until Friday to see what Fury decides to do. Rather, he vacates the WBC or gives the WBC confidence that he's actually going to defend the belt or put the belt on the line in a fight. And I don't think they really care who it is against. WBC is like, look, you got to be active. If you're going to fight Dillian White, then, or you fight Chisora or whoever the fuck, like, make it happen. So look, we can look out for that. If Tyson Fury, in fact, vacates the belts, or that belt, the WBC, then that's a game changer. That's a game changer. And don't be surprised if the WBC announces, or the promoters of the fight of Wilder Helenius says, yo, hey, by the way, Fury just vacated the WBC. We're going to put that title into this fight. The winner of this fight becomes the WBC champ. It's been vacated. Don't be surprised. And that's a game changer. Game changer. for the pathway to Undisputed. So we'll see what happens with the WBC and Fury within the next couple of days. And like I said, this conversation will definitely be a part 2, a part 3, or whatever. I'll continue to report my thoughts about Deontay Wilder and his training. I'll obviously have to drop a prediction video of like an official prediction video, really break down the fight between him and Oleksandr and how I see it happening. I also need to drop a prediction of Luis and Ortiz, which is happening next week. I need to do that within the next couple of days, obviously, because that fight is right around the corner. I do plan to commentate live on that fight. I think it's going to be a fun fight to watch, man. I think it's going to be a very fun fight to watch. I don't think you guys want to miss that. I believe it's on a Sunday, though. It's not a Saturday night fight. I believe it's a Sunday fight. So prepare your calendars for that. JD Walker, the boss talker, what's good, bro? Thanks for dropping by. And I think the next live I'm going to come out, I'm going to talk about the Devin Haney Kambosos rematch, and also talk a little bit about Lomachenko. He's back in the U.S. trying to stir the pot, and talk about just the 135, 140 pound division, and keep cooking on that as we now prepare for the rematch of Devin Haney Kambosos, which, by the way, we're going to get back-to-back. If y'all didn't know, it's back-to-back fights. You got Wilder Helenius October 15th, and then you got Haney and Kambosos rematch on October 16th. Back-to-back, beautiful nights of boxing in October. So looking forward to it. And we'll get those Firestorm panels popping, talking about Devin and Kambosos. And I'm curious to see if people still have confidence in Kambosos, to see if he can pull it off in the rematch. And I saw and I heard Bob Arum, right? He's trying to promote the fight, saying, "Oh, the reason why we do a rematch is because you never know. When Frazier fought Muhammad Ali the first time, Frazier clearly beat Muhammad Ali, and then Muhammad Ali won the rematch, and then whatever." He referred to some other fighters. He talked about Durant and Sugar Ray Leonard and all that shit, which, okay, but I see what this contract, that it's a guaranteed rematch, but that's neither here or there. I just found that shit funny. Bob Arum doing his classic maneuvers to sell a fight, but you don't fool me. But anyways, guys, those are my thoughts. If you guys came in late, y'all could roll back the tape and listen to my thoughts about how I see the heavyweight division unfolding, man, and how Undisputed will happen, who will become Undisputed, and y'all can check it out, man. But I'm gonna go ahead and get up out of here, bro. I appreciate everybody dropping in. I appreciate everybody for hitting that like button while you were here, and I'll be back with another one within the next couple of days, man. We'll get into the 135/140 pound division, so I'm looking forward to that. And also, I'm waiting for the final word from Knockout Boxing 86 to get me on his panel for a debate. I've already submitted my declaration, so we'll see when he can arrange that in September. He told me it'll be September, like early September, so y'all be on the lookout for that shit too, because I'm looking forward to getting on that panel and debating. So keep your eyes open, man. Appreciate every one of you guys, man. I appreciate you guys. You guys still stay up, stay strong, stay positive. I'll catch you guys on the next one. I'm out.